Welcome to my channel. Enjoy this video and subscribe my channel. The Big Bang Theory is finally getting a proper spin-off after young Sheldon failed to stick to its premise as its original offshoot. In 2017, Chuck Lorre and Bill Prade's sitcom launched its very first expansion series that tackled Sheldon's childhood. Born out of Jim Parsons' character constantly sharing anecdotes from Texas, young Sheldon debuted Ian Armitage's version of the character and the rest of the Coopers. While it didn't quite get to be as popular as its parent series, it managed to keep the universe going for 5 more years after The Big Bang Theory ended. To take advantage of The Big Bang Theory's popularity, CBS launched Young Sheldon. Set to function as the origin story for the beloved, socially inept genius, the first few seasons of the series focused on his childhood in Medford, Texas, as he navigated school, the community, and even his family. While Armitage played the young prodigy, Parsons' older iteration did the narration that bookended almost every episode. Despite that, however, there was still a big disconnect between young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory. Now, however, Lorre is finally coming up with a proper offshoot to his nerd-centric comedy. Chuck Lorre is developing a Stewart-centric The Big Bang Theory spin-off. Before Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, there were already reports that Lorre was developing a The Big Bang Theory spin-off. Work on the project was kept under wraps, with details about it only coming to light in late 2024. The new show will see Kevin Sussman return as Stuart Bloom, as he spearheads the new show. Ideally, someone from the main cast fronting a follow-up show would be ideal, but between his close ties to the Pasadena gang and relatively unexplored background, Stuart is the next best thing to lead a new show. Somehow, there's also something to be said about Sussman finally getting his time under the spotlight in a Lorre sitcom. Before he was cast as the sitcom's comic book shop owner who eventually grew closer to Sheldon and the Pasadena gang, the actor was actually in the running to play the socially inept genius, a role that ultimately went to Jim Parsons. That said, Sussman was also briefly cast as Howard in The Big Bang Theory, but he had to bail out of it because of a prior commitment, which was shortly cancelled after Simon Helberg was tapped to take over. Why young Sheldon failed to become a proper The Big Bang Theory offshoot, while plot specifics about Stewart's The Big Bang Theory spin-off are still under wraps, it's already shaping up to be a better spin-off than young Sheldon ended up being. Granted that the prequel tackled the origin story of the flagship's most popular character, it didn't take long before it outgrew its premise and became an ensemble. That isn't exactly a bad thing, however. Some of young Sheldon's best episodes were when the whole Cooper family was involved. Over time, the rest of Sheldon's clan also got their respective compelling arcs. That being said, looking at it as purely a The Big Bang Theory spin-off, it broke away from its parent show, both intentionally and unintentionally, that it's almost an entirely separate series. Proof of this was the petition for young Sheldon to fully abandon the established continuity. That would have included scrapping George's death. While Lorre didn't do this, it's worth noting that young Sheldon created many plot inconsistencies that it could have easily been set in an alternate reality if its creative team opted to prioritize its own narrative rather than honoring what came before it. Luckily, however, CBS was able to find a way to take advantage of young Sheldon's popularity until the very end by launching Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. While the new show is still in its freshman year and not posting the same viewership as its predecessors, it remains solid in its time slot. Its ability to somehow continue young Sheldon's legacy is a testament to how far off its parent show veered from its original premise, considering how inconsequential Sheldon and even the events of The Big Bang Theory are to Georgie and Mandy's first marriage's weekly stories. Stewart's The Big Bang Theory show is better positioned to honor the show's legacy. On paper, young Sheldon seemed like the perfect way to expand the Big Bang Theory lore. People were already familiar with the Coopers through Sheldon's stories, not to mention their Pasadena visits, but there were so many other things that weren't revealed in the main show that could fuel its run. The problem came when it was time to execute it. Because so many of Sheldon's childhood stories were meant to be ridiculous to elicit laughter, actually showing them in a single camera show was nearly impossible. This resulted in countless plot inconsistencies to make young Sheldon as compelling as possible.